Welcome back to Ferris Sports Update. Time to check in with Ferris State Hockey, and joined by head coach Bob Daniels. Coach, welcome to the show.
Good to be here, Rob.
Obviously a big series for your team this past weekend, one of the biggest series you've had in some time, and you go into the weekend 1 point out of fourth place and still right at 1 point away going into the final 4 games of the regular season.
Yeah, we ended up splitting. We knew regardless of how the weekend turned out, it was going to more or less go into the final. It'll go down to the final weekend and whether we can get home ice or not. But anyway, but it is. We're playing the team that's in fourth. We're chasing them 1 point back, and the games were good. I mean, our records are identical, both out of conference, in conference. No matter how you slice it, the two teams are pretty even. And a split was probably apropos for the weekend.
As we go to the highlights, Friday night against Bemidji State, obviously wearing the red here at home this past weekend with the red out effort.
Yeah, that was it was a great thing by the SportCom RSO to put that on the red out, and they're trying to bring awareness to women's heart health, and it was great to partner with them and the other sport teams at Ferris to help promote that. So it was really good. Friday night's crowd was solid, but Saturday night's was really good, and I think the RSO had a lot to do with that.
This game back and forth here early, and neither team able to put a goal on the board here in the first period.
Well, I thought both goalies played really, really well on Friday night. There was a lot of opportunities, a lot of chances for both teams. We fell behind by one, not a team we wanted to have to chase during the course of the game. We get the tying goal here off the face-off play. Jason Branchell, 21, gets it. And so that gets us going. But like this game here, I felt like Bemidji had the better of the play in the first. I thought in the second we had the superior play, and the third was pretty darn even. And so you'll see here it's going to go down to the final. Inside a minute, still tied 2-2.
Obviously one of those games where you look at the final shots, it was pretty even, almost identical.
Yeah, the shots, scoring chances, just all the way down. You can see here their guy runs into Noah. But yeah, 1-1 going into the third, and it pretty much what we expected. It really was. We played them earlier in the year, and I think a lot of the games, they've all been 1-goal games up to this point.
Obviously a big goal right there. Antonio Venuto, shorthanded goal here early in the third.
Yeah, I think that's only our second shorthanded goal of the year, maybe third. I think we scored one last weekend at Bowling Green. But here you can see we're trying to add to that. And then inside of 4 minutes, they scored to tie it at 2. And we were, at this point, I thought we were pretty much carrying the play. We just, it was a matter of getting one more by them. Here's a really good play, a pass from Ergang to McGrath, and then Dealster makes just a great individual effort to get the game winner with 46 seconds to go in the game.
How exciting is it for your team right there, and how much momentum does that give you winning that game in the final minute?
Well, it does. It gave us a lift, and the next night now that we're going to go to Saturday, where we get beat 6-2, I think it was a confluence of, last weekend we played 2 really tough games at Bowling Green where we won them both. We won the one game late in the game, the other game we win in a shootout. We had the emotional win here, and I had the feeling you could almost sense the legs weren't there for the guys. We were chasing the game the entire night on Saturday. And I think, it's the emotional reservoir that finally ran dry because, we've been in some really number of high-pressure games lately where we've been coming out on top. And all of a sudden when we fell behind, we just didn't have the legs or I think the emotional juice to come back in this game.
Obviously Bemidji State knew a lot was riding on the line for them as well as they come back here into Saturday's game and get off to a 2-goal lead here in the first period.
Yeah, and as I said before, even chasing them when they're up 1 because they are stingy defensively. And so as the game went on, we're trying to press more and more to score. And when you do that, you're going to give them opportunities, and they're going to stretch their lead out, in which they did on us. But nevertheless, the guy, we had a 2-point lead going into the game. Now we're 1 point back again. But again, like I said, we'll have 2 tough games at Northern Michigan this weekend, and then we'll finish up with 2 at Lake State. So we still have a very good chance to get home ice. I'm guessing it's probably going to take 3 out of 4. We'll have to win 3 out of 4 down the stretch run.
The save from Noah Giesbrecht right there, and obviously he got the win on Friday night. You utilized both goaltenders here in Saturday's game.
Yeah, and we started Noah, and you know, I know he was probably disappointed. I pulled him after 2, we were down 5-1, and that wasn't so much a shot at him as much as it was kind of a shot at the team. I didn't think we were playing very well in front of him. I didn't want to leave him in, and Logan hasn't seen, you know, action in a little while, and it doesn't hurt to get him in a game. He's a very good goaltender, obviously, and we're going to need him between now and the end of the year. So I was happy to get him in. I thought he played very well. You know, coming, you know, after watching 5 periods and not being out there, and then all of a sudden getting thrust into action, I thought he had a solid 3rd period for us.
Obviously, you mentioned this week on the road at Northern Michigan, 4 games left here in the regular season, and big series again here against the Wildcats in the UP.
Yeah, it is, and we had a great series with them here at home. I believe we split earlier in the year, and once again, we're talking about 2 teams that are pretty close, but the reality of the situation is our league's very close. It's a tight league. I think we've beaten everybody in the league. I think everybody in the league's beaten us. You know, it's just one of those years where everybody's close. It depends who's on a given night, you know, injury situations and so forth. But, you know, I think the beneficiary of it has been the fans, because the games, you look around the league, almost all of them are 1-goal overtime games.
Obviously, after this week, you come back home to face Lake Superior State on February 24th and 25th, final regular season home series. And these games here are obviously important in terms of the conference tournament implications, but you also want to be playing some good hockey going into the conference tournament.
Yeah, you know, and I think as we go into the conference tournament, it's that first weekend, the best 2 out of 3. That's the hardest weekend to get out of. That's the hardest series to win, when you got to beat a team twice in 3 games. And then after that, the remaining semifinals and finals are single elimination. And even though they're going to be good teams you end up playing, it just seems like that first weekend's the hard one to get out of. So we'd like to have ourselves positioned to give us the best opportunity to do that.
Obviously, what's it going to take for your team to go out and get some wins here over the final 4 games?
Well, Northern Michigan, it's a little different animal. It's the only time this year we'll play an Olympic sheet. It's a wider sheet of ice. Normal NHL sheets that we play on are 200 by 85, where the Olympic sheet's 200 by 100. And so, you know, it's getting the angles and penalty kill, defensive zone coverage down, it takes a little bit of time. So, you know, that's probably the biggest challenge we'll have coming in this weekend outside of the Wildcats.
Well, Coach, thanks for the time, and best of luck as you travel, and safe travels up to Marquette this weekend.
Thanks, Rob.
That'll do it for Ferris Sports Update. Reminder, you can follow all the action online at ferrisstatebulldogs.com. Have a great week.